Hello everybody, this is Cheri at tjsundry.blogspot.com, and today I have a birthday card for you. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted it to be very masculine, first of all, and I wanted it to be kind of vintage heritage feeling. And so I pulled out my Explorer and I found the Heritage cartridge on it. And that is the cartridge that I used. This is the little truck that I used, and I cut it at about 4 inches. And this cardstock is just some black texture cardstock that came with the Cricut. The inks that I'm using are Memento Tuxedo Black and Lagoon from Close to My Heart. And I'm also using the Lagoon paper as a card base, and these you can both get from Close to My Heart. Now the pattern paper that I'm using is also from Close to My Heart. Unfortunately, it's one that has been discontinued, so it's not a paper pack that's still available unless you can happen to find one somewhere. If you really love this paper, I do have a few sheets of this part of the collection that I could get to you, and I could sell them to you. But as far as finding the whole collection, I don't have it, and hopefully there are some still available. But this is on one side. It's got very campy, masculine feeling, gone fishing. But then there's also other things that aren't necessarily fisherman. It's just very masculine feeling. Then on the other side, it's the barnwood, and I really like the barnwood on here. So we're going to start. I cut my card at 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches long, and I scored it in the middle. So that's the middle, or that's the outside of a card. And then I took this piece from the Timberline collection, and I cut it 1/4 inch smaller all the way around, and so it is 4 inches tall, and then it's 5 1/4 inches wide. And so that will give me what I'm looking for, so that I have just some of that lagoon showing up to provide a frame for our main card. And then this next piece that I have is this is the same piece of paper, but it's reversed, and I cut that at it was 1.5 inches wide, and then it's the 4 inches tall as well. And so I'm just going to quickly adhere that, and then we can put our car on. I think that I am going to put the card up on foam tape, and I'm just bringing this all the way over to the edge of the paper, just like that. So there we have our first part of our card. Looks like I got off a little bit on the folding, but I think it's going to be okay. Let me just kind of straighten that out. Okay, so now I am going to pull some foam tape, and I am going to cut some pieces so that we can kind of pop that car up a little bit, just to give it a little bit extra depth and interest. I'm not worried at all about the bulk of this card, because the person that I'm giving it to, I'm mailing something to go with it, so I'm going to have to put it in a padded envelope anyway. So I'm going to go a little bit with a little bit more dimension than you could go with if you were trying not to pay extra postage on a card. If you were trying to pay extra postage on a card, or trying to not pay extra postage on the card, you could possibly get by with 1 layer of foam tape. I'm not sure. It just depends on how it fits through their little measurement device. But you definitely couldn't add any of the triangle studs that I'm thinking about adding if I find a place to put them, and because they are way too dimensional. So you would just have to leave that part off of the card. So that is going to go right about there, just like so. So we've got our car on there. And now we're going to open up the inside of our card, and I'm going to prepare to do some stamping. Now the stamp set that I'm using is also from Close to My Heart, and unfortunately it's also been discontinued. In fact, this was just discontinued at the end of July, and when I found out it was being discontinued, I grabbed it while it was still available. So it is called Just a Number, and it has all sorts of fun sayings. And I really like these sayings because, first of all, they're fun for people who are getting a little bit older, but they're also fun because they're split. Most of the sayings are split. So, for example, the one I'm using says, with age comes wisdom, and then it has the ellipsis at the end. And then for the inside of the card, then it'll say, you're one of the wisest people I know. And so there's a couple that just say happy birthday, but the rest of them are split sayings like that, which is really fun for a card. So what I've done is I've taken some of the same paper and I have made little banners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting this one is going to go up here, and then this one is going to go right about here near it. But what I am trying to decide is where I'm going to put, I think those will go like that, and this will go like this. So my sentiment I need to put in here, and I just want to decide where I'm going to put it, and I think I'm just going to put it right there, and then that gives me plenty of room to leave the message. And I want to do that before I adhere my pieces down because it's difficult to stamp with the extra bulk. So let's go ahead and pull out our little spongy pad there, and we will go ahead and ink up our stamp. And this is the first time I've used this stamp and I forgot to prep it, so hopefully it's prepped and ready. It's a smaller stamp, so I think we'll be okay. So let's just kind of center this right about there, down and straight back up. Perfect. Just like that. And then I'll go ahead and adhere my pieces. But before I do, I want to do kind of an extra technique, an extra step here. And that is I want to ink up, using the Lagoon, I want to ink up my banner pieces just to give them a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to pull these over here, and I have this little piece of sponge that I cut off from my sponge, and I actually used it for a different color, but I'll just use a different spot. Ink that up, and I'm just going to go around the edge, and I'm not even sure how noticeable it's going to be on these pieces. It's really not noticeable, which is what I was afraid of. However, on the barn piece, it should be a little bit more noticeable. There we go. And that just kind of ties all the colors together. It's very subtle, and you almost have to know that it's there to be looking for it, because it's just not something that pops out and says that look, I have extra color here, but it does add a little bit of extra dimension. And I actually meant to do that to the front of the card as well, and I forgot. So I'm going to go in right now, even though the card's put together. Normally I would like to do that before I put the pieces together, but I think it'll be okay, and I'm just going to add that in right now. Just going around, adding it in, and I'm coming down a little bit further with that on that barnwood so that it does really kind of tie it in and stand out. Then I'll do the same on the bottom. And do the same right there. Okay, perfect. So we'll just set that aside and put that away. So now let's go ahead and finish off our inside and get everything stuck down. So I'm going to grab my ATG gun again, and on this one I want to use the printed side that's the kind of fun side, and I want to leave just a tiny border at the bottom, but I want the edge of the banner to go all the way to the edge there. And then on the top I'm going to put that down, and you'll notice that this is upside down, but then the word right next to it is right side up, so it really doesn't matter because this particular paper is going in every which direction, so that you can place it however you want to place it, and it really doesn't matter. It stuck when I didn't want it to stick quite yet. There we go. And then this one, my stamp set stuck to the side of my ATG gun here. And that one I'm just going to come down and come in just a little bit Still trying to keep it straight, which I did not do. Let's try that again. There we go, just like that. So that's the inside, and it just provides a finishing touch. So now we just need to finish up the outside, and I have this piece of Lagoon cardstock, which of course is still available as well. And I am going to stamp my sentiment, and that's not the right one. This is the one I want. Just ink that one up really well. And I am going to center it. And the reason I'm centering it is because I'm not sure what I'm wanting to cut off quite yet. And so I want to have plenty of room on either side. I cut the banner a little bit long. So, put this out here. And you could just leave it just like that and it would be fine. But I think I'm going to cut a fishtail banner of it and bring it over here. So I'm just going to get my scissors here. I'm going to cut it off right about there, just making a straight line cut. And then I'm going to do the same down here, and then we'll go ahead and fishtail the banner here, just like that, and like that. And that will go right there. And I'm going to put that down flat. I don't think I want to put that down. I was going to use a different sentiment, and that's what you're seeing on the back. But I think if I was using the other sentiment, I needed to do a telephone instead of a car. So there we have that one. And then let's see. Now I have these triangle studs, and they come in two. The pack comes with two different colors. It comes with the silver color and the more bronzy color. And I think I want to use the bronze. And I just need to decide what I want to do. I kind of like putting those two little ones down there just like that. So let's go ahead and just pull these off. And I'm going to just kind of line them up almost as if they're pointing to the car. And just do two side by side there. Let's see, let's make that a little bit straighter instead of pointing towards the car. There we go. And then to balance that out in the opposite corner, I think I'm going to just add one right up there. So there we have our card. With age comes wisdom. You're one of the wisest people I know. And there we have it. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.